Good morning, good evening, good night, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Welcome once again to another session of Living World of Darkness. This is a scene for the Werewolf venue. We open up our scene, starting actually from the point of view of the young woman, the young therapist who had just gotten a very worrying call on her personal cell phone. There was a sobbing, broken down male voice, barely capable of articulating what he had to say between hiccups and sobs and what sounded like drinks. She couldn't quite make it out, but eventually they decided that they would meet up in basically a middle ground of their current locations, winding up at an abandoned skate park of all the strangest places in New York. Well, not abandoned per se. People went to it during the daytime. But right now, 2 a.m., when the sun was not even really considering coming up in the sky, the place was empty, desolate, dirty concrete throughout the place. And here she walks up upon it, looking around, trying to find the person that gave her the message.
The person that gave her the message is currently sitting on a bench of sorts. He currently has just a wine bottle in his hand. He seems to be chugging it every so often, just staring off into the expanse of the bowl in front of him. Because currently that's how skate parks are like designed and built. They have these very, very deep trenches that go downwards, and when you stare downwards at the trench, you look at the drain that's at the bottom because the drain's supposed to be there. The drain's supposed to be there because that's where all the water goes when it rains, and where does the water go after it drains? Well, it's got to go somewhere.
Sarah will walk up to him. She's still kind of holding her phone out in her hand, and she has a very concerned expression on her face. Alan?
Sarah?
Hey, I got your message. Are you all right?
Um, no.
She'll walk over, definitely taking note of the liberal drinks he's taking from the bottle. What's going on?
Uh, I'm thinking
About?
about the drain. Points at it.
She raises an eyebrow, but looks over at the drain. She probably doesn't find anything particularly remarkable about it. What about the drain?
It rains. I know it rains. It has to rain. Oh, I know that the drain's there for the water that build up, but where does the drain go?
I'd imagine into the sewers, to be cleaned and put back in the water supply, or in the lakes or the ocean.
You think it's cleaned? No. Hell no, it's not cleaned. It's just fucking dumped.
Why don't you think it's clean? The water we get from the tap's drinkable, isn't it?
It's not even fucking drinkable. No, you don't understand. You don't understand at all. Here's the thing. Here's the fucked up thing. We all produce waste. We all produced waste, like trash, aluminum, plastic, whatever the fuck have you. And what do you think they do with all that waste that you go ahead and throw into the garbage? What do you think they do with that?
Oh, my best guess, landfills.
Exactly. landfills. And what do you think they do at those landfills? Because I can tell you, it's definitely not recycling.
What do they do?
They burn it. When they burn it, it all goes up into the air. There's so many chemicals, so much poison just gets thrown into the air where it collects. And when it collects in rain clouds. And when it rains, it goes ahead and falls. And when it falls, it goes right into that drain. You would think that it gets filtered. It doesn't get filtered. It goes right into your tap. You're drinking your own waste.
Raises her eyebrows. I never thought of that.
I think that's all the time. All the time. All the time. This is environmental concerns. It's definitely something that you should think about. Definitely something that you should think about. I mean, we only got the one planet. We only got the one Earth. Spaceship Earth. We continue to fuck her. And we die. Simple as.
Why do you think we're fucking her?
Because we don't do. We gotten to a point where we no longer respect her. We gotten to the point where we just go ahead and continue to fuck her over again and again and again. We've forgotten. We've entirely forgotten what it's like to actually live in balance with the world. Totally and utterly out of balance. I mean, I try to teach people. I really do. I try to teach people. Like, no, stop fucking with the earth. Recycle. Grow a garden. Don't be a jackass to your fellow man. Stop going to O'Toole's. Buy your own resources and food. Fucking cook, bitches. Fucking cook.
And you think we're fucking over the entire world?
Yes. Yes.
I'd say it's fucking the world over. No matter what happens, nature always adapts. No matter what you do to it, it'll change and take on a new form. Survived worse things than this.
Look at this place. Look at this place. This is a place of utter fucking concrete. I can guarantee you there's not. Well, actually, Alan's going to go ahead and walk over to one of the cracks in the cement. I'm going to go ahead and look at it.
She'll follow.
Alan's going to go ahead and become bulkier, become stronger, become taller. His hands are going to go ahead and metamorphosize into claw-like hands. His clothes can barely contain the new muscle mass that is currently growing inside of him. He reaches down, he takes a part of this concrete and just utterly rips it fucking apart. He says a few words, few whispered words. Sarah may recognize as Gaia bless this place. Gaia bless this place and grow something here wonderful. And afterwards he goes ahead and throws a pile of dirt in that little crack he just created. And from that little crack doesn't come an enormous growth, just a small amount of growth, just a sprout that seems to sprout out.
Surprisingly, Sarah doesn't look horrified or surprised by this entire revelation. She's just watching, almost curiously, kind of fascinated by this display.
Mm.
You created a sprout amongst an virtually indestructible.
May have to repeat that. I apologize. I do apologize, good viewers. It seems as if something has lost to us, but we are endeavoring to bring her back.
We're going to have a short commercial break.
Do 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 do. Do 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 bum ba bum 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 da 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 bum ba bum bum bum. We're having technical difficulties. Do 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 do. We has them. Da 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 da. We're working on getting Shelby's connection back to track. Ba da 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 da. Why don't you watch? Do 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 do. Robert's little pic right there. Oh, hi, we are currently back.
Sorry about that. What was the last thing you heard from me?
The last thing I heard from you was this brilliant display.
She just seems kind of curious, politely inquisitive, if you will. She looks down at the sprout and back to Alan. You've created a sprout. That's... What do you think happens after you leave it? After you've stopped giving it your full attention, what do you think will happen to this sprout?
You'll probably die. Ain't nobody in this city gonna give two rats' ass to something that just sprouted out of the concrete.
She just nods.
It's also worthless.
Maybe you're just looking at things from the wrong angle.
What angle am I supposed to look at? This place is completely filled over with pavement and concrete, wherein it should be filled with grasslands at least. This whole world, no, this whole world, this is city. The city is fucked up. The city is like overran with concrete. What are we getting? What are we getting for like paving over the earth? What are we getting?
Some would argue safety, protection, but you know, I think the honest answer is convenience. It's convenient. It's easy. It's easy to go to O'Toole's and get something to eat. It's easy to make use of the road systems. It's easy to throw your things in the garbage and not the recycling. It's easier that way. There's no fighting against a current you can't change.
Path of least resistance. That's what people are fighting against. People don't actually goddamn realize what they're fighting against isn't a goddamn tentacled monster down the goddamn street that's gonna rip you apart. What they should be fighting is goddamn ignorance of everybody. What they should be fighting is the goddamn ignorance of people. Try to educate them, but they're fucking doing to the planet. But no. What people want to do is they want to swing their fucking hammers, and they want to bash fucking monsters. And they don't want to care about, community outreach. They don't want to go ahead and educate people what effect they actually do to the environment. No. What they want to do is to be the biggest, strongest fucking dick in the entire goddamn community.
You sound like you're talking about somebody specific.
I'm talking about a lot of people, actually. Too many people look at physical strength. Too many people think about physical strength. Combat prowess is like the keys, like the engine, like the way the world is going to be heading, be salvaged. And that's their salvation. I gotta be stronger. I gotta be quicker. I gotta be able to take more hits. That's fucking fantastic. But guess what? Goddamn smog is currently suffocating your children right now. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to beat the smog out of them? Are you going to go ahead and beat the illness out of them? No! That's how the fucking world works. Damn it. Looks forlorn. At this point, he's already shifted back into Hamid. He's like he's staring at the fucking sprout that he just made.
Sarah will sit across from him. Stay quiet for a good while. Reach out with her pointer finger and her thumb and pluck that sprout out of the ground. And just look at Alan. What kind of strength do you value, then?
To make actual change. To actually look at the world and make actual change, to convince people to change their ways, to look at the environment and start changing it. The ability to actually talk to people, communicate ideas, and have your ideas go ahead and pursue out from away from you. I want people to actually take a second look at themselves. I want them to be able to look at their community, to be able to reach out in their community, to actually affect the kind of change that will benefit the planet. Not just them fucking selves, but everybody. The planet. And not just short-changed it, like the fucking sprout. I'm talking about what would happen if we went ahead and destroyed this entire park and planted something else. Like a commune shit. Like the commune, I could goes ahead and points towards the drainage pit again, that little bowl, and simply says, what if we went ahead and grew vegetables right over there? And what if we went ahead and changed that, pointing at a different apparatus, a different structure? What if we tore that all down and we placed a field there? It's like the world's children to go ahead and play in. What if we did that?
Is this not a place for the world's children to play in? You create a place, take most of this, turn it into farmland, and plant crops. Plant crops and it sucks what little nutrients exist in the soil, turn it into dry, rocky clay. And a lot of inner city kids with nothing else to do, who would come here to skate and otherwise have fun, would, I don't know, sit at home, get involved in gang activity, start shooting up.
I've been down that path before. I've seen people go down that path. You say like that, maybe the skate part is good. I don't know.
If you were to demolish O'Toole's, get rid of every single O'Toole's in New York City, what do you think would happen?
Do you want to know what I would want to happen or what I honestly think would happen?
Both.
What I would want to have happen is for people to start looking at themselves, looking at their diet, recognize that O'Toole's is a terrible, terrible fucking staple of their diet. I would want them to go ahead and try alternative food sources. I would want them to go ahead and try to cook something for themselves or trying to find something that's like natural, that came from the ground or came from livestock, came from something that actually lived. But I know that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is McFries is going to go ahead and get a great big boon of business. Fuck you, McFries.
Do you know how much a full meal at O'Toole's and McFries cost?
It costs about $5 actually.
Right, $5. Do you know how much it costs to prepare yourself an entire meal using only organic grown goods?
Ideally, it should only cost about 30, but that comes from all of the appliances that you need, all the contacts you need. You know, here's the thing. You don't the drive. McTooley's goes ahead and is driven on convenience. It's time. It would cost about the same, but they would involve much more time on them. They'd have to spend an actual fucking 30 minutes making the food themselves and not just relying on a deep fryer to go ahead and produce it in like 5 minutes.
All that time adds up. They lose hours out of the week and hours of work. Those poor families, they need that cheap food to continue to survive. If they were forced to buy organic to cook all their food themselves, to lose out on work time, to lose out on the money, they may very well not be able to afford a place to live.
That is the bullshit. That is the fucking bullshit. You know why they're forced to look at low-income food? It's simply because the rent is so fucking expensive and it doesn't really need to be. The reason it's like that is because lawgivers, politicians, and the like go ahead and force this upon them. They go ahead and force these people into like these hive-like structures and force them to go ahead and live their 2 parents, 3 kids, 1 dog type bullshit. So that they just it's just it's like, here's the thing, it's like cookie cutter. Everything is a fucking cookie cutter. If you don't fit into the cookie cutter, you're wrong and you're just not gonna work. That's what they do. They force it. The lawgivers, the leaders, everybody, they force this up. Rent shouldn't be that expensive, but it is. Simply because that's the way the law is.
So, where do you start the change that changes all of this? Where does it begin?
Where does it begin? It begins with the, I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
Does it begin with the head of the corporations, the CEOs, the people profiting? Does it begin with the people who are incapable of throwing off the shackles of this kind of oppression? Does it begin somewhere in the middle? Where do you start when you look at a system that's irredeemable? Where do you start changing it?
Alan sort of like stops for a second. He thinks for a little bit. You can't trust the corporations. The corporations are greedy assholes who will always look for the most profit, and the most profit generates this type of system. Most When you look at these families are so fucking disenfranchised. They come from generations of people subjected to the same system over and over again. They don't know any better. You can educate them, but it takes so much work and so much fucking effort. It's almost not worth it.
Most things, when they get to a point where they can't properly be fixed, usually programs, but I suppose it could apply to other things. Sometimes the best you can do is find a reset button. A reset button that'll wipe that system clean so that a new one can emerge, so that something decent can be made, fresh and new and uncorrupt. Something that we won't let grow into this.
Impossible.
Why do you say that?
The system is too big. The system is too big. I mean, I'm one person. And you can go ahead and tell me I've got a team. You can go ahead and tell me that I've got a group of people around me willing to go ahead and throw their weight into this, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth it because there's just this. You're not fighting against one person. You're fighting against the inertia of at least 100 years of industrialization. That's what you're fighting. You're not fighting one person. You're not fighting one corporation. What you're fighting against is about 100 years of the Industrial Revolution that has created this world where it's so much more convenient to let the system spiral fucking out of control.
If it's already out of control, then what can be done about it? What can be done about it, save for forcing it to burn itself out, cause it to collapse in on itself and crumble, build something new?
If you do that, here's the thing. If you let people go ahead and follow things to their natural conclusion, let entropy take effect, let everybody reap what they have sown, you're pretty much condemning a lot of people to a terrible existence and a horrible death.
But to try to save all these individuals, to keep fighting against entropy, you don't stop entropy. Entropy doesn't end. You slow it down and allow it to take its toll on more and more generations of people, rather than just letting itself end.
Oh, what if you find one group of people that you care about, that believe in your cause, no matter how much it would hurt them, no matter how much they would fight? Wouldn't it be better to create a garden with yourself and your people against the entirety of this apocalypse? Isn't that better?
How do you choose who is worthy to survive the apocalypse and who isn't?
Alan's gonna go ahead and stop, raise his hand to his face. I don't know.
Is a clean slate not infinitely more merciful?
I don't know.
She'll put her hand on his shoulder. I understand. It's hard.
Everything is burning. Why is it burning? I can't stop it.
This was a fire that started long, long ago, long before any of us were even born, long before our parents were born, our grandparents were born. It's already happened. We can't prevent it from happening again.
There's so much bullshit. I was told. I was promised. I was guaranteed that there was something to fight for that I could preserve. And I've seen all the sacrifices of the generations before me. How am I supposed to continue?
Because it's not your fault. It's not your doing. You didn't damn this world, and you shouldn't have to carry its burdens on your shoulders. This is not something to fight. You are not. What do you gain from being a martyr to a society that doesn't care?
I have people. I have people that trust me. I have people that have gone through the fire with me. Those are the people that I fight for. Give a rat's ass about the lot of them. But I have fought, I have bled, and I have burned because of them.
What do they give you in return?
Hope. They are the next generation. Why would I not fight for the next generation?
Nods. So, at the end of your battle, what results do you hope for?
Survival. That is the only thing that I can possibly fight for and hope for. Survival.
Survival? You want them to survive? To continue to scrape by while everything in the background is broken and corrupt? Why not a new Garden of Eden, a new paradise?
There's no way to deliver them there. There's none. I can't. I can't deliver them. I can only maintain what's around me and hope that fucking Gaia, it's good enough.
She takes a look around, down at where he ripped up the earth to make the sprout. This is what you want to maintain?
I got nothing but what I make. Nothing with what I take with these hands. I don't even have generations. I don't even have tradition. Because they all sacrificed for me, my generation. And I have to perpetuate that, even while the entire world is fucking burning.
You don't have to. There is nothing that you have to do. You were choosing to do this, remember?
Miss Black, there are no other options. There are no other choices.
It could be the force of change to wipe this place clean, to give it a new start.
That's insane. There's so many people. So many. You wipe everything out. Everybody dies.
Puts her hands on his shoulders. But this suffering ends. The suffering, there will be no more of it, and those who are left can rebuild to a place that's in balance.
Alan's gonna go ahead and when you go ahead and grab his shoulders, he'll go ahead and grab you by the waist and look you straight into the eye and simply say, I don't know if I could look at the death. No, I actually do know. I can look at the death of the world. I've done it once before. I've looked at the death of the world and I came out just fine, didn't I? Didn't I? There's like this entire epiphany looking at his face. I saw the death of the world. And I continued on.
She'll smile and bring one hand up to cup his chin. You strove on in the face of something that nearly nobody else can, something that many others are too blind to see, to believe, to even think to prepare for properly.
I saw myself. He was in a cage. He was me. He saw the death of the world. He was still around. And no one could eat. He was. And that was because Starmeter didn't die. It was because we lost. But I continued. And any future, I kept going. I don't know. Maybe I'm just survivor.
There are many others like you, many who can survive this reset, who have a strong vision for what things should be but that they aren't. And instead of fighting to keep an old system alive that they can't even hope to fix, want to renew things and restore balance and survive, and their generations after them will not even have to look in the face of corruption. They will not have to have it lurking under their beds or in their closets or around the corner. Because it will no longer be a threat.
Fair. It's not fair.
She'll reach over and she'll hug him and pull his head into her chest. I know, but you are stronger than this.
Did you poison Xavier?
Who?
My cub?
No. I've never poisoned anybody.
Did your wife?
She shrugs. It doesn't sound like her.
I can't trust you, he says as he's obviously bawling into your chest.
Bring a hand up, stroke his hair. Why can't you trust me? I haven't lied to you once.
You haven't told me anything.
I've told you a lot tonight.
What was your name before you went Ronin?
Which name are you referring to?
The name you were known by the nation.
She pauses for a moment. Sort of an odd look on her face, almost nostalgic in a way. Sarah races the worm.
What was your home sept?
Sept of the Wheel of Ptah.
What was your reason for ostracism?
Love.
Bullshit. Give me the story. You're a fucking galliard.
I loved somebody that I was not supposed to love.
It's not a story, that's a statement.
I come from a tribe, from a sept of fatalistic assholes whose entire mantra that they chanted was all about death. It was all death all the time. All ghosts, all mysticism, all secrets. Group of even our ragabashes, morbid beyond belief. The only escape that I had was an extremely close friend of mine. I suppose she was another cub, or that was the story at the time. She and I, we would go off and we would escape from these morbid, war-hungry people. We would go out. We would just walk and talk. We would look at the parts of this world that were good, the parts of this world that were not being destroyed by their warlike deeds, by the forces of corruption. We would talk about how someday this would be all that there was. Someday the world wouldn't need Guru. Someday we would be unnecessary and the world would be better for it. I admit it didn't take long for me to fall utterly in love with her. She was with me through my rite of passage. She was with me when everything was dark and bleak and when nothing had any meaning. But the nation could not accept that. We were a pair that could not breed, not even a metis, and we were a pair of guru who offended those who wanted a relationship like ours with their pack mates, with their sept mates, but could not have it for fear of producing a metis, as if they're some scourge upon this earth and not fucking living beings who have just as much of a right to be here as us. So we left. We left on our own accord because they would not accept us for for having the gall to love in a way that didn't even offend any single part of the litany by literal definition.
Why didn't you find other Garu of the nation that agree with your ideals? I know of several septs that wouldn't bat a fucking eye.
When we were younger, those septs didn't exist. They didn't exist, and especially not for us. Our home sept would not vouch for us. They struck us from the records, declared us Ronin officially. By the time the word got out and we were seeking asylum, nobody would take us in.
Alan's going to go ahead and briefly detach himself from Sarah, look at the crack that he has made, and go ahead and retch up, actually. It's as if he's retching up against, I don't know, all the disdain that he currently personally feels, the disdain for how the world is currently is, and disdain for probably how the nation treated these two Garu, and he just retches until he's done. He goes ahead and looks at you. He's still got a few strings of puke on his face. He goes ahead and tries to rub his sleeves on it. He looks to you and says, "I'm sorry."
Here. You'll notice that she's teared up a little bit and her face is a bit red, but she pulls out a handkerchief and hands it to him.
He goes ahead and uses it.
They chose their hatred for our love over having two more warriors. They cared more about their hatred than their desire to fix anything. That's why we're out here. That's why the most that we can hope for to fight for is an end to this suffering, so that nobody will have to suffer like we have, like our friends have. We don't want this for anybody.
You and your wife, you've lied to me.
How?
Your wife told me of people and things that they had interacted with the rest of the Sept. I know for a fact she didn't lie just by words. She lied without saying words. She omitted things about the way she talked to the kin, about the way she talked to my cubs. Why would she do that? If you don't get him an answer very, very soon, he's going to actually tense up.
She does give a very long pause, possibly to protect them.
You see that Alan goes ahead and he's sitting cross-legged from you, across from the mark that he's gone ahead and made in this concrete tunnel. And he's looking at you square in the face. He simply says, "Why?"
I don't fucking care what the truth is. I'm not here to judge in any way, shape, or form. I just want to know.
It's difficult to grow up in a society that is founded on lies, on one that profits mostly on keeping those under those in power on those lower stations, that keeps a lot of its members ignorant to a lot of very important information. Perhaps allowing them to continue to remain in blissful ignorance was the only mercy she could show them, the only kind that they would feel gratitude for.
One of my cubs. I saw him grow from being an ignorant little fuck, a royal dick, into a goddamn Cleus. I take personal amount of pride in his development. Why? Why, Xavier?
It's a question you would have to ask my wife.
You offer me no answers.
I offer you the answers that I can give.
If you offer me no answers, then there is nothing I can bring back to my people. Or there's nothing that I can keep inside my heart. Sarah Black, don't you know? Don't you think I believe that you can go ahead and live with yourself just so long as you can justify all the very, very poor life decisions that you have made? My story is not unlike yours. I left, or at least I was chased out of my sept for loving somebody that I ought not to have loved. I understand the need to be with somebody that can truly understand you. I understand, and I'm not here to judge anybody. I just need to know why.
Because those people afforded no mercy, no understanding to a pair of fucking children who made a mistake in their eyes. They refused to look at things from any perspective other than their own very, very narrow one.
Gonna go ahead and roll wits at difficulty 9.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just went ahead and changed the conversation quite quickly. Let's see if in his drunken state he realizes. Nope! Damn it! He's with you on this. He's been totally convinced. The other line of thought is lost in his drunken state. People don't understand. They'll never understand. They're always just fueled by rage. They need to make snap decisions. They never think. They never look. Never understand. It's always you gotta defend. Always you gotta attack.
Always that big fucking clave has to fall on somebody's head just because you don't understand the situation. Always.
When you have people who can have no compromise, nothing to share that unifies them despite different points of view, no way of even trying to empathize with someone else. You get an entire people who claim to be on the same side but are so splintered and divided they throw out two young misguided members of who should be their family just because they don't like the way they look at each other.
They're not unified. They never will be. I don't understand. Why am I supposed to bring them together? Why am I supposed to bring them together? Am I looking at the rest of the world and seeing it die? Why?
Don't have to.
There is no alternative.
There's always an alternative.
Bullshit.
She shrugs. I chose an alternative. My wife chose an alternative. We've scraped by an existence free of this sort of petty squabbling, this sort of people who feel that they can control our lives.
It's false. Obviously it's false.
Is
It
it?
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's false. It's obviously false. It doesn't make sense. I can't believe it.
Is it really false, or have you just been conditioned to believe there's no alternative?
Talk about conditioning. As if you could condition somebody for 5 fucking years to live on the fucking road looking after people that aren't even his family. I don't even know why I did that. That was insane. I was 18-year-old. Why did I do that? He's looking at you right now.
Who were these people that weren't your family, that you don't even know why you stayed with?
These are my kin. I'd do anything for them. No reason I wouldn't. They're my kin.
They're my kin. They are the next generation. I was entrusted with them. When the sept of the clear waters fell, I was entrusted. I need to look after them. I need to make sure the next generation is there. I know their families. I know their fucking families.
You protected them because they were kin.
Isn't there anything more worthy to do?
Did somebody tell you to protect these kin?
Of course. The elders told me. The elders divided everybody up into 4 groups. I was given one of them and was told to head out east.
The elders chose who you would see as family for the near future. The elders instilled this idea of obligation in you. They told you where you would live in the future. Does that sound like a decision you made on your own?
It was hard. So fucking hard. I was on a fucking bus. I was responsible for educating them, for seeing their children go from elementary to high school. How in the world do you heap that fucking responsibility on me when you're fucking dead? And I know you fucking died. And that's the only thing I fucking wanted. You fucking denied me. You fucking denied me a death so I could live in this fucked up world with all these fucked up responsibilities.
They force you to be so deeply embedded in the system that you think that you have failed all of these people just because you choose to care for yourself.
There is no solution. There is no end.
There is a reset button. I hope to reset all of it.
He goes ahead and grabs you by your shirt. I'm guessing that you wear the hoodie because I'm just going to go by your portrait. He goes ahead and grabs you by the hoodie, looks you in the face, and he simply goes ahead and screams/sobs at you. There is no reset button. We are stuck here until we die.
Even if that's the case, even if there's no hope as we hope for, no hope as the nation hopes for, then why do you spend the only life you have struggling for something that will never come when you could try to spend it caring for yourself and just...
I'm not a fucking Fenrir. I'm not a fucking Fenrir. I do not think there will be a last battle. Do not think there will be a last battle to die glorious in the end. I am not. I am not. I am fucking am not a Fianna. I do not go ahead and drink myself fucking silly to try to fucking forget my problems. I am not these things. I am not these things.
Talk so much about what you're not. What are you?
I am a man that was once full of rage. That was, I shouldn't say man, I should say Garu. I was once a Garu that was so full of rage. That was part of the Alpha tribe. That was given and heaped on so much responsibility that fucking broke every single promise just for love. And instead of facing up for it, I ran. And when I ran, I found the unicorn. When I found Unicorn, I found new purpose. I found a Sept that's willing to take me as much as I thought I was fucking broken. And when I did, they went ahead and changed me so that I could work better, that the rage would not scare people away, even though right now it continues to do so. I was given these kin, these children of Gaia can see them go ahead and prosper in the next generation that will obviously not fucking come because the inertia of the entire world of humanity is just gonna go ahead and grind us all into fucking dust. You have no idea how long I've thought that. I've never spoken it.
Why do you submit to something that forces you to burn yourself out just to provide a second of light for someone else?
Because there are no options.
There are always options.
There are no options for me. I have been entrusted with people's lives, and I cannot walk away from that.
Yes, you can. You
Because
always have a choice. There is always a choice.
he goes ahead and Alan will go ahead and ball up a fist, look at you, start to reach back. You can see the rage boiling inside of him right now.
She clenches her jaw, looks at him, and just waits for the punch.
He can't. He doesn't visit violence on others.
You always have a choice. That's all. She'll wipe her face a bit.
What choice then I have? I have the Sept of the Green. I have my kinfolk. I have my pack. I have all these elders. Did you tell me to walk away from all that?
Just looks down for a minute and back up. You have me.
He goes ahead and shakes his head. I don't have you. I don't even know what you are.
I'm Garu. Someone who's trying to help people in a small way through this, but all I'm hoping for is an end to the suffering. I don't want to have to help people cope anymore.
What do you want then?
balance. A world where things are not constantly clashing together due to some broken piece of the primordial concoction. I want a world that's in balance where people can live and die and do all of that without having to resort to numbing themselves to all the corruption around, without growing corrupted themselves, without... I want a world where we're not necessary.
Who is not necessary? Garu, Ronin.
Garu. Where warriors are not needed. Things are... I want a world without us that is better off that way.
Alan is going ahead. He's got his face. Oh, no, excuse me. He's going to go ahead and reach up his hands to his face. He's going to go ahead and fall backwards, still in the crouching position. He's going to go ahead and scream, I don't want to fight anymore.
Neither do I. Neither do I.
I'm just going to go ahead and lay there for a bit.
She'll sit nearby. Seems... Well, she seems like she's spent a lot of energy in the past conversation, so she just sits there, looking at the place where the sprout was. Looking at the drain. Looking at Alan.
Alan's going to go ahead and raise up a finger and simply say, well, he's going to go ahead and raise a finger. He's going to go ahead and twirl his goddamn finger in a circle and simply says, it all goes down the drain. It all goes down the drain.
And that cycle continues mercilessly without end.
He's going to try to find his wine bottle again. It's corked, but it's currently completely and utterly empty. As he tries to raise it to his mouth, tries to get a little bit of a lick, the last few drops of it. I need more. I have not been sleeping.
This is what you need. Alcohol. Numbness.
If I do not have numbness, then I have nothing. I've tried. I've walked. I've tried to celebrate. I've tried to find enjoyment in this world. But every time I do, somebody else that walks in, somebody that just doesn't fucking care, goes ahead and walks in, proceeds to wave their fucking clave around without any idea of the kind of bullshit that they're pulling. Not even a goddamn fucking care.
about what they should be doing, about how they should be changing the world. Just go ahead and wave their goddamn clave. And I can't think. I can't think. Just nothing I do matters. There's nothing that I do that matters when they glorify warriors and not builders.
They could have the mightiest castle built on a foundation of sand, and no matter how they beat their chests and howl, it will all come crumbling down around them.
Why don't they care? Sarah, she goes ahead and sits back up. Why don't they care?
It's convenient not to.
Like, it's convenient to go to Octuli's.
Like it's convenient to throw your stuff in the garbage. It's convenient to think that the only way to do things is to beat your chest and howl.
So many howls. So many claims. So many claims. So many claims. Not enough work. What's the fucking point of peeing on a goddamn tree if you don't fucking grow it?
For the chance to say, this is mine, this belongs to me. But when all that belongs to you is a pile of rubble, she shrugs.
How did you disappear when you first walked away?
My tribe are noted messengers and scouts. Disappearing was probably the greatest skill they ever taught me.
People don't know me. They don't know the real me. I wonder if I just simply stop showing up, stop being Alan. Would they ever fucking notice? Would they ever feel like he tracked me down?
Would they?
Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? I know too much.
So do they notice you now?
Of course they do. Of course they notice me. Of course they call upon me. Because I've had to clean up bodies. So many bodies.
They call you when they need you. Do they support you when you need them?
I the labor of my kin goes unnoticed.
So, if you stopped showing up, would they wait until it actually became a problem for them to help you.
Long silence. Long breath. Alan goes ahead and say, I think they have other Garu to take my position, should I not return.
Just your position. Do they see you as more than your position?
No, of course they see more. Of course they see more. They see me as... They follow me. They follow me into battle. Follow me. When I make policy, they follow me. Of course they would miss me, because then they would be directionless and rudderless, because they wouldn't know what to fucking do anymore.
Tilts her head. They would be directionless if you were to disappear.
I don't understand why in the world me disappearing, them being rudderless would be a good thing. And he goes ahead and grits his teeth again. He simply says, I'd be gone. I'd be free. The people would suffer.
Who took care of those kin before you did?
I don't know. I briefly met the man. He was tall, lanky. He talked with a really southern accent. I forget his name. I shouldn't have forgotten his name, but I forgot it.
If there was somebody who cared for them before you, and you took them when he was gone, why do you not think they'll just be given somebody else to take care of them? Why do you not think the kin will essentially be rationed off?
Ration? Why would they be rationed off? They're people.
Does the nation treat them like people?
I treat them like people. Fuck. If I left now, there's no Hamid to take them after I go.
Why do you specify Hamid?
My tribe, in this sept, I am the only Hamid. The other are Metis. They'd never be able to produce another generation.
The kinfolk, why would they be limited to only producing this other generation with members of your tribe? If so, how could you possibly sire a child with each and every one of them?
It takes a good long think. Goes very, very, very head and unabashedly says, I don't want any of them as a mate. Fine. You got that out of me. I don't want any of them as the mate. I don't see them as partners or lovers. It's just, I had one. I fucked it up.
What happened?
I wanted to protect her, and she was unhappy, and I could not make her happy again, and she left me.
Talk about the reason you stay. Being to protect all these kin. But the one that you put so much effort into protecting didn't want to be protected.
He goes ahead and screams at you, fuck you! You don't know. You don't fucking know. You don't fucking know. I was alone. And I didn't want the people I traveled with to fucking deal with me. It's different. I'm responsible for my kin. I never used them like that.
Where did she go?
Say again?
Where did she go after she left?
She is still within the sept, and she has found somebody else.
Who?
My superior.
What kind of man is your superior?
He's a prideful, boastful little fuck. Swings with a giant axe and solves his problems like that.
She nods. So she left the architect for the warrior.
It's not fair to her to make that comparison. It's just two different Garu. He grits his teeth again.
But is it false? Am I wrong?
It is more than that. I didn't tell her things. I wasn't open with her.
What did you lie to her about?
I didn't lie, I just didn't tell things. She wanted more, I couldn't give it to her.
Why couldn't you?
Because wrapped up inside of me is the obligation of fucking millennia.
Once again, it comes down to you thinking you have no choice. Thinking you're obligated. A life spent as somebody who, at a young age, was drafted into a war he didn't want to fight. Was given no say on the matter. Most likely, if it was anything like my upbringing, you were taught to hold a weapon, taught to swing it at the things they didn't like, and everything else you had to force out of them. You had to find what scraps of information you could on your own, because the skills they valued were murder, ability to be pointed in a direction by your superiors and swing that weapon. And all other abilities of yours were coincidental. Just something extra.
Alan's go ahead and take a pause, look up into the sky, and not talk for a bit. It seems as if he's mulling the words inside his head. After a brief moment of reflection, Alan turns his gaze back to Sarah Black and simply say, "Isn't what we fight worth destroying?"
What do you mean?
He wants to kill us. He wants to destroy us. Why wouldn't we want to fight back? Isn't it worth it? Tell me it's worth it!
Is that always the case?
Has to be the case. It has to be.
The European tribes came over. Rumors, stories of the two Native American tribes say the place was pure. The place was free of the things that you fight and you want to kill. And yet, for some reason, they turned on these potential allies. They took and took and took, and now those things are here too. They're shapeshifters, non-guru, whose only crime was existence and difference. What do you think of those? Were they trying to destroy and corrupt?
No! Why would they? Why would they? We tried. We didn't. They fuck every time. Every time. Talked. The Farah. The other tribes ambushed us. Took our peace talks. Made it a fucking slaughter. Why?
What was their crime beyond existing and being different?
What is your crime beyond making one mistake in loving?
She nods.
Too many coincidences. Too many coincidences of you and your wife, and a third that remains unknown. This is what they fear.
What's that?
You.
Me?
And your alpha.
Why?
Because they can't see him. They don't know him. And their enemy, the dancers, are also hidden. And they can't find you. Or at least they don't fucking try.
You found me.
What can I say that I found? Other than just a lost girl that doesn't know where she is right now.
What were you looking for when you came to find me?
The first time,
Yeah.
just somebody to talk to. Somebody that I didn't have to worry about talking behind my back in the sept.
The other times?
I think the same thing.
Here I am. Somebody to talk to. Somebody who has no stake in the squabblings of your sept.
I need to stop this conversation.
Why?
I just need to.
Alright. Not going to force you to continue. Do you need a ride somewhere safe to stay for the night?
I can walk.
If you're worried about my intentions, I can give you cab fare.
I can make my way to where I need to be.
If you say so.
I need some place to run.
From me? Or from something else?
Everybody goes ahead and starts to stand up on rather shaky legs. They're totally intoxicated, totally inebriated. Looks down at you. What's his name?
Whose name?
Your alpha.
It's not my secret to give.
Whose is?
Would be his own.
And I want to meet him.
I will ask.
I suggest you make it urgent.
Understood. The next time we see each other, I will have an answer.
He's very, very shaky on his legs. He tries to put one foot in front of the other before realizing, turning around, and simply saying, "You came to me when I called you. You should be thanked for that."
She just nods. It's not a problem.
It is a problem. What do you want?
Alan, you're extremely intoxicated. We just had a conversation that was difficult for both of us. I'm not going to ask you for anything in return.
Just because I asked for something doesn't mean I'm gonna deliver it. What do you need?
Suppose the same thing you do. A friend, somebody to talk to.
Goes and shakes his head as much as he's able to shake his head without falling over. He tries to steady himself on a bench. It begins a rather interesting path out of the park.
You watch him as he leaves in a drunken stupor. Look on her face, sort of difficult to read, as if she's still taking in everything that happened in these past moments. Wipes her face, heaves a heavy sigh, kicks over the rock that he threw, kicks it towards the drain where it lands with a splash, and begins walking in the other direction to her car. I believe that is a good place to end our scene.
Thank you, watchers, for watching. Thank you, players, for playing. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.